What is up, guys? Private Eye Russ here, and welcome to another episode of the Private Eye Russ podcast. I am Private Eye Russ, the titular character. No, that doesn't mean what you think it is. Private Eye Russ, owner, operator of a full-service private investigation and security consulting firm. All right, we offer a wide range of services, everything from corporate theft investigations, whether it's material theft, embezzlement, or the dreaded intellectual property theft. We have a team of dedicated professionals that will set you straight. Criminal defense investigations. Got it. Litigation support investigations, experts. Obviously, infidelity investigations. One service that I'm getting more and more calls for, well, two services I'm getting more and more calls for are personal development coaching, whether you need to sort out your life as a man one way or the other, or if you need guidance through an issue, whether it's for business or for personal life. I am expert at both of these things. I can help set you straight. I have a wealth of knowledge and experience, as well as practical hands-on information, and I've guided many men through the minefield of this increasingly hostile world towards men. I can help set you straight. So whether you need strategic planning, or you need crisis management in the short term, or strategic planning long term, or personal development coaching, I can set you straight. Reach out to me at one of three ways right now: Russ at privateeruss.com. That's Russ, R-U-S-S, at privateeruss.com. Alternatively, you can reach out to me at privateinvestigatorruss@gmail.com. That's privateinvestigatorruss@gmail.com. Or send me a direct message on X. I'm on X regularly, on a regular basis, full-time, full throttle, all the time. And I check messages frequently at Private Eye Russ. So let's get into this. This is unfortunate. Some of you may or may not know I'm a huge boxing fan. Ever since I used to watch boxing when I was a kid with my father and my uncles. Love boxing. I boxed amateur boxing. Obviously, when I was younger, I determined very early that I was never going to be making any money boxing, and so I figured I'd better save my brain cells. But still, the boxing actually helped me out quite a bit growing up in the South Bronx. Anyway, so this professional boxer, Gervonta Tank Davis, he's been in trouble before. He was recently arrested again. He was in trouble before, and most of it seems to stem from that life he led as a child. Obviously, he needed more guidance than he got when he was younger. So he's got a baby mother. She has a couple of kids, 2 or 3 children with him, and I don't know why you would have, and look, he's put his hands on her. And there's a video of them in a stadium, I think, watching the fight. She posted something online about him, and he, got up and grabbed her by the shirt, by the neck area, and dragged her out of there. And that's on video. He wound up getting house arrest for 90 days. While he was in house arrest, he decided he was going to buy a house and move into a whole other house while he was on house arrest. And the judge was like, no. And so he wound up doing I think 3 or 4 weeks in jail. So, fast forward to about 24 hours ago. This is what happened. So fair use. So we're going to watch this and then we're going to discuss.
Right now, a well-known boxer arrested right here in South Florida. Gervonta Davis is accused of assaulting his ex-girlfriend in Doral.
And this is not the first run-in with the law. Local 10's Roy Ramos is live outside of the jail in West Miami-Dade.
And I know you have some details on this latest arrest for the boxer, Roy.
Christy and Alexis, the charge he is facing is battery with domestic violence. And you mentioned this was an ex-girlfriend, but it is also the mother of his children. That, according to police. Let's show you who we're talking about here. You were looking at the mugshot of professional and well-known boxer, 30-year-old Gervonta Tank Davis. He was arrested by Miami Beach police early this...
At least he's not crying and all teary-eyed, man. There's nothing more pathetic than a guy who gets arrested for something he did, and he's all crying and teary-eyed. I'm sure the people who are taking your mugshot would love for you to be crying. Me personally, if I get arrested, I'm going to try to do the John Gotti, and I'm going to make posters of it, send postcards, Christmas cards, whatever. Put a Santa hat on myself. But yeah, this is this is unfortunate. Tremendously talented boxer, one of the pound-for-pound best boxers. He's not the best boxer in the world. He's got to get past Lamont Roach. Lamont Roach gave him some work. Technically, I think Gervonta lost that fight, but they're probably going to rematch if this doesn't ruin the rematch prospect. So let's keep going. Fair use.
this morning on a warrant for his arrest following an alleged incident that happened in June on Father's Day. In the arrest report we obtained, Davis is accused of striking and slapping the mother of his children in the face, causing injuries to her lip as he arrived to pick up his kids from her Doral home. Unfortunately, this is not the first time Davis has made headlines for his run-ins with the law involving domestic violence. I tried to speak with him back in 2022 as he bonded out of the Broward County Jail for allegedly hitting his ex-girlfriend outside his Parkland home, causing injuries to her face. In 2020, he was seen on video grabbing his ex-girlfriend.
All right, we're not going to show that part. All right, so again, fair use, you know how that goes. So obviously this is a very, very toxic relationship. She is no angel, okay? She was on video doing just the most vile and disgusting things, which involved her own fecal matter and spreading it about the house. And so this is what we're dealing with. The both of them, like, there is no good guy or bad guy in this whole thing. They're both the bad guy in this. He's the bad guy because he's putting his hands on her. She's, knows how to push his buttons. So we're going to talk about a couple of different concepts. Men who lack emotional control are frequent targets of women. All right. They are, especially toxic women. Why? Because they can push your buttons and push you over the edge and get you to do these things. Not that I'm saying he's justified in any way, shape, or form. I'm not saying that. If you're in a situation where a woman is pushing you, even if she's trying to put hands on you, whatever, the best thing you can do, guys, leave. Get out of the situation, because ultimately you are going to wind up on the receiving end. It doesn't matter. In most cases, it does not matter who was right, who was wrong. It doesn't matter if she attacks you. Most cops are going to arrest you, and then you've got to deal with the legal ramifications afterwards. So best thing you do, and any attorney, anybody will tell you the same. Anybody who has your best interest at heart will tell you, get the heck out of there. Get out of that situation. Obviously, things are a little bit different. If you think children may be in harm's way, then that's a whole different set of circumstances. But two things you should do: record everything, document everything, get out of there. And here's what guys need to start doing. Press charges. Call the police on women when they attack you. But here's what happens. Guys do the whole, I'm going to be Dudley Do-Right and, be Mr., Sir Galahad and the knight in shining armor. No, I'll not have my, children's mother go to jail and have have her be undignified and all the rest of this stuff. She will do it to you. She will call the law on you in a minute and throw you under that legal bus and have you ground to hamburger meat. Call the police, guys. Document, call the police, get yourself out of the situation as quickly as possible. Don't put your hands on her. Get out of there. All right? Get out of there. So you don't have to defend yourself. Just go. All right. Anyway, so let's also talk about a woman who understands how to push your buttons. All right. Women will study you, and they will find ways. They'll find triggers. They'll find things that will trigger you into action, get you into a rage, even get you emotional. Why? Because we've talked about this before. When you get into those emotional deep waters, we don't belong there. We don't belong there. Our realm is the realm of logic. That's where we're most powerful. That's why women want to get you into that emotional realm. That's where they rule. That chaos is where they are most comfortable. I'm not saying they perform best in that, but they love that chaos. They love the craziness and the even the violence. Why? These two should never have had a child. They've had multiple children, so now he's got to deal with her, right? So instead of going to her home to pick her up, and then maybe she pushed his buttons, maybe she did this, maybe she did that. Who knows what happened? I don't know what happened. I wasn't there. All I know is that he got arrested. Best thing to do is have a transfer at a fire department. Have it take place in the lobby of a law enforcement agency. Don't go to her house. Why are you going to her? I mean, I'm sure he's paying for it, so he figures, hey, it's my house anyway. But still, why are you going to her house? He should not be going there. I think he probably walked into a trap, but she was able to walk him into that trap because he's not making very good decisions. Inside the ring, he's incredibly disciplined, incredibly well prepared, always very fit. Well, usually he had one fight where he missed weight, but besides that, he's a professional prize fighter. But his his personal life is incredibly chaotic, which you see a lot of men with who fight for a living who have chaotic lives. So if you have a woman who has your number, there's different ways that women can have your number. I discussed this with someone over the phone the other day, with a coaching client. This woman has his number from the standpoint of pushing him over the edge and prompting him into violence, and this has happened on more than one occasion. These are the women you need to stay far the heck away from. Now, another type of woman that has your number is more positive, but it can be used negatively, which is why I recommend guys stay away from this. I've had a couple of women through my life, and we all do, that one woman that has your number that you find very difficult to resist. I don't mean like pushing me over the edge and getting angry or doing anything violent towards women. That's not my thing. But I mean those women that you have difficulty resisting. There's one locally that I know. Guess what I did, man? I just cut her out of everything. Now, when women understand that they have that power over you, they are going to use it. Obviously I'm not going to put the woman's name out there, but what I did was I'm not going to deal with her anymore. Why? Because I recognize the signs. And so before she was able to, and she tried to use that against me in a controlling way, and I recognized the signs, and I was like, yeah, I'm not walking into that trap. That's quicksand, man. You're asking for trouble. So Gervonta Tank Davis now has, instead of dealing with or preparing for an upcoming fight, a rematch with Lamont Roach, which, I'm a fan of Gervonta Tank Davis's, but Lamont Roach came there to fight, and I think he should have gotten the nod, but okay. So instead of doing that, now he's got to worry about the distraction of this this legal case. Now he's got to deal with this, the expense of it. He's a rich guy, so he can deal with it expense wise. He can deal with it attorneys, but he's just hemorrhaging money on things like this this is an unforced error. This is something that he should have avoided. Yes, there are women that will try to walk you into trap. Yes, there are women that will, that are so toxic that they will try to pull you into a situation where you are vulnerable. There are women that will try to walk you into a fight with another dude. I made a video about that the other day. Some woman invited her baby daddy to the house where her new baby daddy and live-in boyfriend, he pays for everything. She doesn't do anything. And she invited this dude over to his house, parked in his driveway, so he had to park on the street. And the guy was unhappy, and I don't blame him. Obviously, there's ways to deal with things like that, but don't put yourself in that situation in the first place is my point. Okay, so when we talk about toxicity, I've got a good buddy here locally who's dealing with a really toxic woman that he let move in. How toxic is she? She is just, I'll tell you how toxic she is at the end of it. I'll give you a funny story, funny description about how toxic I think she is. But she has invited, did a similar thing. She's invited dudes that she liked, that co-workers that said, they're just friends. Oh yeah, why don't you come by the house? And so this guy is sitting in his house. This girl lives with him, and one of her co-workers, a dude who didn't know what he was walking into, knocks on the door. The guy answers the door. Who are you? Oh, I was here. Such and such invited me. He's like, what the hell? And so women that are really toxic like that are looking for problems. They're looking for issues. They have this constant need, and they get this endorphin rush from the fight or flight, the chase, especially if they can get two guys fighting over them. Man, the really toxic women love this. All right, so anyway, I'm going to end this video with a short description of this buddy of mine's live-in girlfriend that he's working on trying to get her out of there. They're both on the lease though, which is going to complicate things for him. But I told him, look, man, just take the financial hit. It is not worth going forward with this. Take the financial hit and save yourself the trouble. So how toxic is she? And him and I were talking about this. We were smoking a cigar, and he was asking for my advice. This woman is more toxic than a phalanx of cream pie sex workers soaking in a hot tub after getting off working a shift at a naval shipyard. Anyway, it's your boy Private Eye Russ. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Let me get out of here before I get in trouble. I'm out.